Welcome back to the Hologram News Network, where we bring you the latest headlines in Star Atlas. Our feature this week features a sit-down with the club's Vanguard Squadron, an elite group of pilots looking to make their name in Star Atlas history. Star Atlas was light on news this week, but a new video related to Sage and a surprise airdrop marked the high points for the week. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Kriggs, your host, and you're listening to the Hologram News Network. As we close out the penultimate week of the first quarter of 2023, there were relatively little headlines regarding an update to the Sage timeline. With a town hall unlikely for this upcoming Friday, March 31st, the Sage movement test will likely slip into the second quarter. However, Star Atlas fans were treated to new, never-before-seen footage of Star Atlas Sage planetary design and Sage combat. Star Atlas planetary design for Sage is done in coordination with the Lost Pixels, a company that specializes in outsourced game development. For Star Atlas, the Lost Pixels work specifically on ship hangar effects and planet customizations. For both templates, the Lost Pixels were tasked with creating a solution that delivered a variety of effects, i.e. planet types, while minimizing processor memory footprint. As you can see from the footage, the Lost Pixels were able to create a system that enables a variety of controls that can manipulate given texture variables to create unique planets. The video walks through what designing a planet looks like, and viewers can catch a glimpse of what the star systems in Sage look like. As the video closes out, audiences are treated to the first glimpses of what Sage combat will look like. A Calico Guardian and Opal Bitboat flank an exploding Mamba as a series of explosions decimate the bounty hunting ship. The scene then cuts to a Rainbow Ohm trapped in a tractor beam of sorts, as several other bombers and fighters dance about in a pitched battle. All this taking place around an orange gaseous planet bearing a close resemblance to Jupiter. The video itself received positive comments throughout the community as it made its way throughout social media and gave the starving masses a morsel of the game to come. Turning back momentarily to the start sequence, halfway through the week, a ghost item release was delivered to player inventories that participated in the start sequence campaign. Those eligible received either a Tier 0, 1, 2, or 3 badge respective of their participation in the campaign, and the Galactic Marketplace was updated to reflect their availability. If you haven't checked your inventory and you participated in the campaign, you should have the item waiting for you already. Lastly, rounding out our headlines for the week, the Atlas Brew Society held its first formal gathering in Paris, France on Saturday. The stated purpose of this event is to be a testbed for future global Star Atlas community meetups and inspire community-organized events around the world. Hosted by Star Atlas, key participants included community head Santi and French Guild Gargantua Industries. The event was held at the 38M, a local bar in downtown Paris, and at check-in, the event was hosted to 40 participants from the French Star Atlas community. And that's it for our news coverage this week. Stay tuned. After the break, we sit down with the Vanguard Squadron, a team of elite gamers writing their own place in the history books of Star Atlas.
Gain exclusive insight into community sentiment with Hologram News Network, your go-to source for all things Star Atlas. Get updated on gameplay developments, join guilds around the world, or speak up when it counts. The Hologram News Network is a premier source of Star Atlas news. Find the latest gameplay updates, guilds, and community right here. You can find the Hologram News Network on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Subscribe today to make sure you never miss a beat on any Star Atlas news. HNN is here to help shine a light on every playstyle.
Welcome back. For our main feature this week, we join up with the club's Vanguard Squadron. The Vanguard Squadron is a public-facing elite fighter pilot squadron within the club guild in the Star Atlas game who promote club values, inspire members, deter aggressors, aid recruitment, improve defense diplomacy, and showcase club esport talent. Their 5-year mission is to become a world-renowned squadron by 2028, creating and logging the history of their activities in a lore format, creating historically accurate sci-fi adventure backed up immutably on the blockchain. The ships they fly will eventually become unique NFTs with years of history built upon the blockchain. Fans, supporters, and collectors will be able to see which battles and missions the ships were a part of, who piloted them, and be able to see the log-written history of events. I'm joined today by 4 out of the 5 founding members of the Vanguard Squadron, founding Commander Agent Solace and the rest of his team. Gentlemen, welcome.
How you doing?
Thank you for having.
Hey, it's great to have you all. And thanks for being here today. Solace, could you please give us a quick overview and introduction of the Vanguard Squadron and your squadron mates?
Yeah, Vanguard started with I guess Lloyd had an idea quite a bit ago and just never pulled the trigger on it till he tasked me with it. I ran a pretty good EV.io guild for the club, We were number 3 in the world. So he tasked me with putting it together Vanguard. So we started assessing pilots in certain games from Eve to Elite Dangerous, Star Citizen, Squadrons, and kind of formed the club, Vanguard Squadron like that. Uh, we're pretty much going for elite pilots, only 12 available pilots on the team. Right now we are at 5. We're going for kind of like the Red Arrows, Blue Angels kind of look, recruitment and elite piloting. The club has a say so who is into the Vanguard Squadron. We vote them in as long. Also, with the members, can vote who gets into Vanguard and who is, dismembered. So we're constantly evaluating pilots who could join, and obviously club values has to be top with Vanguard Squadron.
Awesome. That's great to hear. We're joined by 3 other individuals from the Vanguard Squadron. We'll start with Grist. Grist, over to you.
Hey guys, I'm incognito for multiple reasons, but I right now what I wanted to say is that I'm blown away by what Solace has done and bringing on some dude and Kepler and everyone else. At this point, I'm trying to do what I can with the time that I have. I view my role as trying to really shape that lore, because I believe that just like there's empires of Eve, that in the future there's going to be the same thing for Star Atlas. And my role at the moment is to try to help guide and shape that lore, and just try to make sure that Vanguard is top notch. And, I trust that whatever decision the team makes is the right one and will push us forward and really be a force to be reckoned with in the future and the moment right now.
Outstanding. We'll touch on Empires of Eve, hopefully a little bit later on. But let's turn it over to Kepler. Kepler?
Well, for me, one of the most important things is the values, the club's values, and representing that uh, uh, through the Vanguard Squadron, being uh, being a group made of people who earned trust, commitment, obviously enough time to do it, the skills also, but we are practicing to develop and to, those skills and to improve. I'm ambassador also in the club, and that's why. For me, it's very important to keep the values strong. To even to use Vanguard, for example, as we have done so far, to create good relationships with other people, other guilds. Like for example, when we are in this tournament that Agent Solas is organizing for the club and for other people to join, other guilds to join. We have been with Stardust Italia or Eclipse or 1 or 2 from Rome. So it's very important to create these kind of relationships and to represent our values.
Those are pretty exciting tournaments that you guys have on, and it's been interesting to see the collaboration between the club and other guilds in Star Atlas. We'll also get back to that and touch on that later on. But lastly, over to some dude as the head of pilot assessment. Would you mind introducing yourself there?
Hey everybody, I'm some dude. You'll have to excuse me, I'm currently working. Don't tell my boss. But yeah, I was excited when I was approached about this opportunity. It's very rare that you get to get on the ground floor of something. And I've been a space game enthusiast since I was a young kid, and I've always been a combat focused PvP type of person. That's where I find the most engaging. It's going to make your heart pound and bring the level of excitement. And the great thing about the club is that they want excellence, but also they want good moral fiber and character. So especially if you're going to be a part of the flagship, you've got to represent the club well and yourself well. But yeah, that's where I'm at.
Awesome. Sounds like you already have a pretty solid handpicked team. So we'll go back to you. We mentioned some of the activities that the Vanguard has coordinated over the last 2 months, namely tournaments and squadrons of Star Wars, excuse me. What other activities are you guys doing either externally or internally to kind of shape Vanguard and shape its activities both within Star Atlas and kind of as a unit and as a squadron?
Yeah, right now we're playing every game. We're playing from Eve to Star Wars Squadrons, Stellaris, Star Citizen. We're playing with other guilds. We're playing with people in our guild. We're training people in these games in our guild, within our guild. You know, we're obviously training each other, you know, but we're also, you know, we train with Star Atlas Italia. We train with Winston from Rome. We train with some of the guys from Eclipse. You know, so it's by playing together, iron sharpens iron, and we're just trying to get a good communication with these other guilds. You know, build rapport. You know, so we're a good outstanding guild in their eyes. But you know, just to improve. So I like putting on these tournaments. You know, we put on several Star Wars Squadrons tournaments. We did a few Stellaris and try to do a EV.io one, but not too many takers on that one. But yeah, we're just training together. We got a couple things planned in the future. Yeah, we're just pretty much training to get better for this game. Our plan by UE5 is to be the most skilled fleet squadron in Star Atlas.
Excellent. You mentioned a couple of games in there, Stellaris, EV.io, EVE Online. Are you guys practicing in any potentially other games that do space simulation that potentially there could be a tournament in, other than Star Wars Squadrons? Something like
Star Citizen.
Wow, this game. Thank you. Star Citizen, or well, can't remember the name of that last one. What's the other popular
Elite
one?
Dangerous.
Elite Dangerous. Thank you.
Yeah, so our specialist in Elite Dangerous is KeplerNet. So he's been training a few people. He's actually been training me. So yeah, we could. I don't know if there's a tournament kind of style, Kepler. Do you know, for like a?
There's a kind of arena. You can do some things. We should have a look at it again.
Okay.
Yeah, because it changes over time. But yeah, so some kind of way to have PvP. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we have, for example, some dude from the Star Citizen, and he knows that very well. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably where we're going to go in the future. We just wanted a lot of Star Wars Squadrons was free for a while, so that's why we try to focus on that. And a lot of people don't maybe have the necessary hardware computers to run Star Citizen. So, but yeah, that's where we're trying to go in the future. We're trying to do Arena Commander and Star Marine tournaments in Star Citizen later on. You know, I'm still pretty new to actually Star Citizen. Some dude has been teaching me a little bit, you know, same with Kepler. So yeah, some dude's part of that Nova Corporation, Intergalactic, I'm sorry. So he's one of the top guys in that. So he's been showing me some of the politics and stuff like that in Star Citizen. But yeah, Star Marine and Arena Commander in the future.
Nice. It certainly seems like as a Vanguard Squadron, you guys have your entire bases covered when it comes to gaming, either space simulation, space strategy, RTS, and obviously first-person shooter. Let's turn to club values and ambassadorship and politics. You mentioned that a little bit. It seems like that the dual purpose of the Vanguard Squadron is to be good stewards and good ambassadors of those club values. How do you see the Vanguard Squadron shaping that, in addition to the tournaments you put on, by reaching out to some of these other guilds and kind of coordinating with them?
Yeah, so like we're just trying to be good metaverse citizens, you know. We're training for the worst, but you know, we're PvE players, you know. If we need to, we will perform PvP operations. But Yeah, so we're just preparing. We're not trying to. Oh, we lost Kepler. We're not trying to, you know, make fear or anything in anybody's eyes or anything like that. We're just trying to prepare for the worst and be good club values by providing tools, by, hey, good trade operations with other guilds, and our main focus is not PvP.
Yeah, outstanding. Kind of touching on those club values. Honestly, the club has probably a screening process to become a member of the club. Does someone have to be a member of the club to join the Vanguard Squadron, or is the Vanguard Squadron open to members outside the club? I know you already mentioned that the slots will be capped at 12, and it's kind of a rotational basis or a voting basis, from what I understand. Do you mind kind of explaining that and fleshing out a little bit more?
Yeah, so to be part of Vanguard, you do have to be club. And you actually have to be probably in the club for a decent amount of time for a vetting. There's a few very skilled pilots that we're looking at to actually join Vanguard, but we're kind of doing a time and grade, time and rank kind of situation. So maybe other squadrons in the future. I do kind of like the medical field. So maybe like a FPS security medical squadron in the future. That maybe could be joint guilds. We're pretty friendly with Bulk and Interstellar Alliance. So maybe a few guilds could join a medical squadron and help the whole UMO. Is maybe something in the future, but strictly to Vanguard, it's only club.
Awesome. We'll go over to some dude as the head of pilot assessment and recruitment. Salas talked about kind of some of the requirements to join the Vanguard Squadron. What else do you have to add, and things that you kind of look for when evaluating potential pilot candidates?
It's hard to say for certain right now what we're going to be looking at, but at least with Nova, my Star Citizen Guild, it's about your meta knowledge, understanding what it takes to be at the top, and then just how much time you're willing to put into practice, because, things change constantly. And even though flying in a space simulator seems like it would be just something you could just do, it actually is fairly complicated, especially when we get into dual stick controls and 6 degrees of movement. So the willingness to put in the time, be the excellence, but then also your mental state is going to matter, right? If you're a hyper pilot, but you're also very aggressive and hard to work with, it's not going to work. Like, you have to be able to fit in with our values and be a part of the team, but also provide, good support and excellence behind the stick. That's really where I'm going to focus. And if you,
Yeah, and I would add also from the club's perspective in general, that's really important also. We have to trust each member of Vanguard. It's not like you're going to join and we don't know you. No, we need to really trust you.
yeah, for sure. And, there will be a more fleshed out recruitment process. If people are interested in it, they can let us know. And then you usually have a pool of reserves, that they're not in yet, but they're candidates for it. So then they can participate in operations with us, and we can see how it all goes. And then if they prove themselves, if there's a slot open, then they can test for it. But if there's not a slot open, they can still come with us and have fun and be a part of what we're doing, but they're not an official member yet. But it's going to be a process for how you get in. I mean, it won't be arduous, and it should be a fun process. We want this to be something that people want to do because it's engaging and fun, and they enjoy spending time with us. And Also, they have to not mind that a lot of what we do will be streamed and on the internet. Like if you don't want your name out there, then you're not going to want to be a part of Vanguard, because we want to be a part of the lore, part of the story of how everything comes to be. And that's going to be important.
We're still part of the
Yeah.
recruitment process, and we're still lore heavy. A lot of even what we did in EV.io and even these Squadron games, we're already writing lore for it. So our lore even started even before the game, So if you don't want to be kind of in the public eye a little bit, probably Vanguard's not the right fit.
Things I'm hearing from you guys are values like trust, teamwork, commitment, humbleness, open-mindedness, and hardworking. So it certainly sounds like the club's Vanguard Squadron is going to be at least the premier and prestigious arm of elite fighter pilots for the club. And you talk about some of that lore and writing that into Star Atlas history. You talked about, Empires of Eve. Can you share with us some of that lore that you kind of set your guys' mindset in and culture, and how that all comes together for a potential candidate that would want to join, the club and the Vanguard?
Well, Joe, I think that what we'll see is that everything's kind of up in the air. And what's exciting about this time is we're all going to help shape the meta. We don't even really know the full flight mechanics and how each ship will perform in the future. That's what's fun. So kind of I see as like the lore is like filling in that kind of vacuum right now. And in the future, let's say 5, 6, 7 years from now, when someone comes in and they want to join the club and join Vanguard, they'll have a rich history of what happened that will keep them up to speed, because anyone in online gaming knows the meta is constantly changing. There's balances. There's this ship was OP, now it's nerfed. So we all want someone to kind of like feel like they're joining this historically rich part of the metaverse.
Awesome. Before we close out here, gentlemen, do you have anything else to add that you'd like to tell the audience about the club and the Vanguard Squadron?
Well, we talked a lot about maintaining the club's values, but really the most important value of the club is to support and help others. And if that's something that you're interested in, then you should come check us out. I mean, we're always recruiting. And you might not want to be a part of Vanguard squads, but if you want to be a part of a bigger community, you should come and check us out. Not just for the tools that we provide or the Vanguard Squadron, but just for the mission and the hope for the future. And also, if you want to buy a lot of ships, we support that.
Yeah. So
Yeah. One important thing. Sorry,
no,
go ahead.
go ahead. Kevlar, you're good.
Okay. The philosophy of the club in general is give back to our community, and also to give to the whole community of Star Atlas. That's why, for example, the club developed those tools like the Explorer Pit Stop or the Auto Supply tool that is open for everyone in Star Atlas. So yeah, but it's trying to give the community value, trying to support people, obviously, especially our members, right? But it's like there's a sentence in the philosophy of the club that we give back to our communities. So we have seen that, for example, when I joined, there were several different things, examples where we saw how really the club gives back to the community when you are like an active member, or when you bring more people or whatever, and there were prizes. There's a kind of mechanism in general, and the motivation, all the things to support the community and what the community does for the club.
Yeah, in EV.io, Lloyd and some of the founders, they provided a lot of whitelist tokens for us to mint some weapons and skins. And then it also had a scholarship model, and they weren't collecting barely anything with the scholarships. All the money attained in EV.0 went to the players. They just wanted the club to have a good name, and it was very successful. And Vanguard, it doesn't matter. Like, it's nice to have a lot of ships, but even if you just have a X4, that's fine. And you want to be a part of Vanguard and you meet all the values and make the cut, there's going to be scholarships later on, and the club members are willing to do scholarships for any ship you would like to use in Vanguard Squadron.
Excellent. Solace, if someone's interested in joining the club or Vanguard, etc., how can they contact the club?
You could contact any of us, Lloyd, me, Grist, Kepler, or some dude. Come play with us on Wednesdays. We have other days we play, but mostly our most attractive day is Wednesday right after the brew. Come play with us. Just have fun. Some dude will put you through assessment, and we'll see if you in time and rank, time and grade, and you make the cut. You're good to go. You have to be voted in by the members of the club and the members of Vanguard.
Yeah, that's for Vanguard. And to join the club, right now you can join the Discord and just talk to us and tell us what you want, what are your motivations, your objectives, and so on. And you can. Right now, it's really open to everyone to join the club. We'll see in the video.
Outstanding, gentlemen. You can find the club and Vanguard Squadron on Twitter and in their Discord and the Star Atlas Discord. Kepler runs his own channel, Nebular TV, on YouTube as well, so check that out if you're interested in seeing more from the club and from what he produces. Gentlemen, thank you again. It's been an honor and a pleasure for you to be here on the Hologram News Network. I look forward to seeing you out in space and again on our show. Thank you.
Thank you, Kriggs.
Thank you.
And Griggs, just to say, what you're doing is excellent, man.
And that concludes this week's episode. And make sure to subscribe to get notified when our episodes release and that you get the Star Atlas news you need to stay one step ahead. Once again, I'm your host, Kriggs, and you're listening to the Hologram News Network.